Scientists ran an experiment that should have made every father in the world sit up straight. They took two groups of babies, same love, same care, same everything. Then they waited. Years later, one group was confident, curious, emotionally steady. The other was anxious. And when researchers hunted for the variable that separated them, it was not income, not education, not the neighborhood. It kept landing on one person, the father, and specifically what he did or did not do in the first 3 years. Here is the part nobody tells dads, and it starts with a number: 1 million. That is how many new neural connections your baby's brain is forming every single second right now. Harvard's Center on the Developing Child confirmed this: 1 million per second. And the people in the room while that construction happens are not observers, they are the construction crew. For decades, research treated only one crew member as essential. Then, a 2017 study changed everything. Researchers led by Sethna and Ramchandani filmed fathers playing with their babies at just 3 months old. Then, they waited and tested those same children at age 2. The fathers who were more engaged, more active, more tuned in had children who scored significantly higher on thinking and problem-solving at 24 months, even after accounting for the mother's sensitivity. The father was adding something entirely his own, and it showed up a year and a half later in measurable cognitive outcomes. So what is a father actually adding that nobody else can? The first thing is a buffer. Harvard researchers describe something called serve and return. Your baby makes a sound, a reach, a look, and you respond with a word, a smile, a touch. That back and forth, repeated thousands of times, physically lays down the brain's wiring. But it does something else just as important. When a baby gets overwhelmed, a responsive adult brings cortisol, the stress hormone, back to baseline. That adult is a buffer. A present father is a second buffer, another nervous system catching what the first one missed. And the more reliably that happens in the early years, the better the child's own stress system learns to settle itself for life. The second thing is a voice, and this one starts before birth. By the 3rd trimester, your baby is already listening. Rhythm, tone, pattern. Newborns prefer their mother's voice because they have been absorbing it for months through her body. It's hardwired automatically. But a 2014 study by Lee and Kisilevsky found something that should change how every expectant father behaves. Unborn babies do respond to their father's voice, but only when the father had been talking to them regularly in the weeks before. Your voice has to be earned. The father who reads out loud, who narrates his day, who talks to the bump even when it feels strange, is depositing familiarity into a brain before that brain takes its first breath. So when your child is born and hears you, you are not a stranger. You are a sound they already know, a sound they already trust. The third thing is the rough play, and this is the one people dismiss. The lifting, the chasing, the tipping upside down, the roughhousing that makes a baby shriek with that specific mix of thrill and panic. For years, this was dismissed as fathers being careless. Psychologist Daniel Paquette built a framework that reframed all of it: the activation relationship. Where a mother's bond often centers on comfort and a safe place to return to, a father's bond centers on challenge, stimulation, a push just past the comfort zone while staying safe. Follow-up research links this style of play directly to stronger emotion regulation in children. But there is one condition, and it's the whole thing. It only works when the father stays regulated himself. When he brings the game back down before it tips into chaos, the child learns they can get wildly excited, ride the edge of overwhelm, and come safely back to baseline. That specific rehearsal in the safest possible environment is one of the most important skills a human being ever develops. And then, at the end of the first year, one more role activates: social referencing. When your baby hits something new and uncertain, they freeze and check your face. They borrow your reaction to decide how to feel. Researchers describe the father as a bridge, the link between the safe home base and the bigger world outside it. Your calm face when something new appears is teaching your child that new things are survivable. What does all of this look like on 9 on a Tuesday night? Simpler than you think. Narrate what you're doing out loud. Get down on the floor instead of watching from the couch. Answer the babbles as if they are the most interesting conversation you've had all day. Do the roughhousing and be the one who knows when to bring it back down. And when they look up at you uncertain, give them the calm face that says, "We are okay." None of this requires money. None requires a degree. All of it requires one thing: presence. Your baby's brain is under construction right now. 1 million connections per second, and you are one of only 2 people on Earth holding the blueprint. Subscribe. Every week, the science of what's actually happening inside your baby's mind.